Hello, I am Anna Kristoff, and I am the account executive.
I'm Rachel Osberg, and I'm the assistant account executive.
I'm Carly Evil-Sizer. I was the idea generator.
I'm Rachel Murphy, and I was the research specialist.
And we are Team CARE for the Garrett Lee Smith Suicide Prevention Grant Proposal. Our mission for the CARE campaign is we strive to create a campus-wide movement towards a community of care created by the actions of our students, faculty, and staff.
The CARE campaign will focus on developing events and using traditional and social media aimed at creating a culture of care on campus, erasing the stigma that's associated with help-seeking behaviors, educating faculty, staff, and students about warning signs of suicide, increasing awareness of on-campus resources for mental health issues and suicide prevention, promoting bystander involvement, and we would also just like to say that we take the issue of suicide very seriously, and we are very grateful to have the opportunity to help make a difference on this campus.
All right, so we were given the fall 2010 and fall 2012 NCHA survey data, and we looked through that data to find the most significant characteristics of the BGSU student population. We found a few factors that we feel affect depression and stress levels amongst these students. About 20% of students are struggling with body image on this campus. About 11% actually have been diagnosed with depression. About 35% have reported having a very difficult time with their finances, and about 44% are struggling with their academic workload. For our focus groups, we chose to focus on some of the populations that were originally suggested to us. We did a faculty focus group, and the faculty told us that they would like for the gatekeeper training to be mandatory for them. They told us that they'd had to take training for campus shooter after what happened over Christmas break, and they said that they feel like this is also very, very important, especially because they see students every day who have depression and anxiety, and so they wouldn't mind the training being mandatory for them. Students in the LGBTQ community feel like this is a very important issue, and they would like faculty to play a role. And only half of the freshman students in our freshman focus group even knew where the counseling center was located. But they also told us that faculty would be one of their first choices of who to talk to about personal problems. So the target audiences we chose for this campaign were the ones that were already suggested: LGBTQ students, ROTC veteran students, freshman students, and faculty and staff. But we also think that you should consider looking at students who are struggling with body image and low self-esteem.
Okay. So we would like to create a culture of care on campus by increasing suicide awareness and bystander involvement by May 2014. And in order to do this, we'll aim to create awareness about gatekeeper training by reaching out to 60% of students that through our marketing efforts and partnerships. We would like to have 75% of faculty and staff members attend the gatekeeper training in the fall of 2013. And we would also like to create awareness of our campaign by posting our messages of care around campus.
We want to reduce the stigma associated with seeking mental health services by May 2014. We plan to do this by increasing the number of students interested in receiving information about suicide prevention from 25% to 40%. Additionally, we want to show students how to reduce the stigma by asking them to perform actions of care through our events.
In order to increase awareness of resources for mental health services and suicide prevention, we will focus on increasing the number of students that have received information on how to help others in distress by at least 20%. We would also like to increase the number of students that are interested in receiving information on how to help others by 20%. And we will focus on increasing the knowledge of the Counseling Center and the Wellness Connections resources to 50% of students being aware of them. And we would like to do this all by May of 2014.
We plan to collaborate our marketing efforts with other campus groups that have made efforts and will make efforts in the future. We will do this by collaborating with the Wellness Connection, the Counseling Center, and Residence Life, as well as planning at least 3 events on campus with the Wellness Connection and Counseling Center from May 2013 to May 2014.
We'd also like to change behaviors to create a culture of care by targeting the LGBTQ community, freshmen, those that are struggling with self-esteem and body image issues, faculty and staff, and ROTC by May of 2014. And we will do this by raising awareness about on-campus resources by providing easy access to them in high-traffic areas of our target audiences. And we will also do this by encouraging faculty and staff to provide information on resources for where they can get help and make those available to students.
So as you may have noticed, our campaign name is CARE. We chose this for our campaign name because it's simple, and we think it really gets our goal of creating a caring community on Bowling Green's campus in just one word. Our slogan is Help Others Stay Afloat. We chose this slogan for a couple of reasons. We do think that this really encompasses our goal of encouraging students and faculty to show that they care, and that just simply listening and reaching out to someone can really make a difference. As you can see, we do have a mascot for our campaign, the Rubber Duckies, and the Rubber Ducky was chosen for multiple reasons. The first reason was it is yellow, which is the color for suicide awareness. And then another reason is actually our student focus group picked the Rubber Ducky out of a couple of ideas that we had. They said the Rubber Ducky really brought words like relaxing and comforting, reminded them of family. So since it was such a friendly, familiar figure, we did think that this would be a good mascot.
We also liked the idea that the Rubber Ducky is something that floats. We like the idea of buoyancy. Buoyancy communicates a positive way of staying on top of things in your life, and college students really struggle to balance so many things: school, clubs, work, social life. And so we thought that this was a good way to represent, you can stay on top of things, and it's a positive way to represent that rather than communicating just that people are struggling.
We do want to use a lot of different promotional materials, not only to spread our campaign messages and make people aware about our events, but we do want to create awareness about suicide prevention, educate, and help reduce the stigma around mental health issues. We do plan to do this by collaborating with the Wellness Connection and hopefully working some of our messages into the stall talk. Our student focus group actually mentioned that the best way to catch their attention was with chalking. So we do plan to use writing on the sidewalks with chalk in a lot of our promotional material for events and spreading awareness about our campaign. We do also want to make a couple recommendations for the video contest that was done for suicide prevention. Our main suggestion is to continue the video contest. We do think it should be on a 3-year cycle in criteria. This year it was about suicide prevention and awareness. We think next year the video should be ask students to make a video about how to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health issues. And then the 3rd year would be how to help someone in distress. So if we keep rotating it, it'll keep the contest interesting, and it'll help reduce the stigma in the end. One other thing that we would like to coordinate is we would like to work with the Wellness and Counseling Center to create information stations. From our student focus group, they did mention that if the resources were easier to obtain, they'd be more likely to use them. So we would like to create these information stations with resources that are already available in the Counseling Center and in the Wellness Connection Wellness Center. So we do plan on putting these information stations in areas to reach our target audiences. We'll put one in the Anderson Arena to go ahead and get in contact with the veterans and our ROTC. We will put one in Hannah Hall and the Art Village because the LGBTQ focus group said that those would be the places that would most likely catch their attention. They do actually hold their meetings in Hannah Hall. We will also put them in all of the residence halls to make sure we get as many freshmen on board, and then we would like to also put one in the recreation center for any students who are possibly struggling with body image issues or trying to make healthy lifestyle choices.
We plan to create a presence and wide follower base through social media sites. We will do this by making a Facebook account as well as a Twitter account. Now, recently there has been a Twitter account created called BG Crushes. It was created in March and has gained nearly 3,000 followers. The concept of this Twitter is students can submit anonymous messages about a crush that they have on campus, and then that is tweeted. We plan to do something similar to this, but instead have students tweet messages of cares directed towards specific people. These messages can then be retweeted or viewed by anyone who follows the account. And here's a sample of our Twitter that we have already produced, so you could just go ahead and run with that if you'd like, or build a new one.
One thing we really focused on was how do we create a sustainable act of care even after the grant money runs out. One feasible, sustainable act of care that we thought could be continued is a letters initiative. We would like to create a letters program to engage the entire BGSU community, not just the campus. For this letters program, we plan to ask graduating seniors to write letters to incoming freshmen with things of advice. A couple of the prompts would be things like, when life got stressful, I coped by. This provides a coping mechanism. Other things, I wish I had learned earlier, or the best advice anyone gave me about the real world. So not only would graduating seniors write one for a freshman, we would also like to ask our alumni to fill one out for our graduating seniors. We will collaborate, like we already mentioned, with Wellness and Counseling Center. Another way we would like to collaborate is with the Omega Phi Alpha sorority. They do a Out of the Darkness walk, and that's held every April. We would like to suggest having a mini health fair at the start of their walk, and here we would invite other groups that have already been making strides to make awareness about suicide prevention. We would also like to ask the Counseling Center possibly to have a table for gatekeeper training signups. We think this would be a great way to target students who are already interested in suicide prevention and suicide awareness, and hopefully get as many students signed up for the gatekeeper training program. We will use promotional materials like press releases to spread our campaign messages, reduce the stigma, and create awareness about the cause. One of the main things we would like to see done is work with BGSU and get our messages on the main BGSU webpage where it flashes at the top and with the different pictures. We would like to make sure we get some of our messages and events on that, because this would not only reach our students, faculty, and staff, but it would also get attention of our alumni as well. We do have several events that we would like to do. One of our events that we've created is called Help Others Stay Afloat. We plan to do this event twice a year, when it's warm in the beginning of the year and in the end of the year, because those are two very stressful times of the year. So what we'll do for our event is we will have a kiddie pool with rubber duckies, and students will be able to pick up a rubber ducky, and on the bottom of the rubber ducky there will be a number which will correlate to a prize, like one of our t-shirts, sunglasses, wristbands. But in order for them to play the game, they have to fill out a message of care or with an inspirational message or a meaningful message to another student. It will be on a duck cutout, and then after the event, we will hang these ducks up all around campus, and it'll be a really good way to have a surprising positive message in two of the very stressful times of the year. We also want to work and do Campus Fest. We'll draw students in with free lemonade, and then we want to have a really big mirror set up. And for the mirror, we'll ask students to stand in front of the mirror, and we'll write messages of beauty. We want to do this to hopefully promote better self-esteem, improve the way people feel about their body, and the way they see themselves. So we do plan to do that not only at Campus Fest, but also at the health fair. And then in addition, at the health fair, we also want to have a giant chalkboard. And then here we'll also ask the students to leave messages of beauty for other students. And they can leave messages of beauty or inspirational quotes about making healthy lifestyle choices. And then this will in turn, we will ask to put in the recreation center to go ahead and help target the students who might be having possible body image issues or those that are making positive and healthy lifestyle choices. And we do want to promote that and encourage them for doing that. I know that the Messages of Hope program was done in the union. We do suggest that that continue. We would like to actually suggest changing the name to Messages of Care. We think Messages of Hope almost implied that students were hopeless before, and we felt we would be able to relate better to Messages of Care. So that is one recommendation for that event. And then in addition, we would like to ask our art students if they can help us create these permanent art displays using those Messages of Care. We'll leave the artistic side up to them. It could be a column, a tree, whatever will withstand BG wind. But we do want to have those placed throughout campus in high traffic areas. And then after a couple of years, we'll have Messages of Care throughout our campus.
So for faculty, we do want to increase the number of faculty, staff, and resident advisors to be engaged in the gatekeeper training, and we want to implement a mandatory gatekeeper training for faculty and staff. As we discussed, they said they wouldn't mind that. They said they thought it'd be a good idea. And the way for them to do this, they suggested the easiest way to reach them would be to send a counseling center representative to department meetings. They said that, emails, flyers, all traditional media that we all get, while certainly good, are just not the kinds of things that they'll pay attention to. And additionally, if you send a representative to a departmental meeting, even if the training doesn't become mandatory, they mentioned, seeing your colleagues sign up for something is going to give you much more incentive to go. You're going to know people there. You're all going to sign up together. You'll feel a social pressure to go, and it is obviously something that they find very important, at least the faculty that we spoke to. It's an issue that they really are concerned about. They really are passionate about teaching, and they want to be able to talk to students about personal problems without making students uncomfortable, without worrying that they're crossing some kind of professional boundaries. So they do really value the gatekeeper training.
We have made an accurate timeline with dates, and that is in our proposal, as well as a budget that we were under budget at $4,800 plus tax. And some key ways that we will evaluate our proposal are we will track materials stocked and taken from the Wellness and Counseling Information Station. We will track all followers on Twitter and likes on Facebook. The number of those who participate in each of our events, the number of seniors and alumni who fill out our letters, the number of participants in the YouTube video challenge, as well as making 50% of students aware of the counseling center.
And here are just some of the key benefits of our campaign. Basically our name, our mascot, the sustainability of the letter campaign, our permanent displays of care, mandatory gatekeeper training. We have a strong emphasis on resource knowledge. It attracts and engages students, and we also have that focus on fixing body image issues as well. It's easy for students to get involved, and it also teaches students, gives them an example to show them how they can care. And thank you. Do you guys have any questions at all?
Can you talk to us a little bit about how you, who your focus groups were and how those people were recruited for the focus groups?
Yes. For the student focus group, we had primarily freshmen, and actually the Quidditch team volunteered. Kelly Taylor actually helped a fundraiser to have them participate. So we did have at least 10. They kept straggling in, so we actually got a lot of feedback from them. And we had mostly freshmen. There were actually 2 seniors, and they were both resident advisors. So that was really helpful, another kind of side to the other stories, so that helped.
Additionally, we had a faculty and staff focus group. We had various faculty and staff from different departments.
We recruited faculty and staff that we had good experience with, relationships with, like former classes we've taken. The majority of them happened to be English professors because I'm an English minor, and they volunteered to do it. So that was, but it was good. They were very actively engaged, and they gave us some good suggestions. So.
And we also had an LGBTQ focus group.
Right.
And it was mainly those from the LGBTQ fraternity or campus.
question. For the information station that you proposed, who do you envision staffing those? Do you envision it being like peer educators? Do you envision it being professional staff?
And
I'm sorry. I was just going to say who.
in regards to refilling the resources?
Well,
Those are simply going to be racks within ZMIN. And so the only thing that would need to be done with those is to refill the resources as they get low.
Okay.
There's no work for those.
Okay, so not anyone staffing those?
Yeah, there would be no one staff.
Okay.
Actually, if you do look at our timeline, we are planning on hiring interns, and it could be the intern's job to stock those racks and replace them as needed.
You're also thinking in the dorms too. If they're in the dorms, I know they have people like on patrol, like when people come in and out of the doors and stuff. So maybe they could be. I'm sure they have some duties of like restocking things. So they could probably do that as well in the dorms. Anything else?
I had one more question. The Twitter feed that you proposed, is there a way on Twitter for that to be moderated so that we could approve things before they were posted on that?
Yes.
Yes, actually, there's the BG Crushes. There's a website that these students go to, and you promote the website through the Twitter account. They submit them anonymously, so no one even knows who submitted them, and then you would take them from that website and tweet them.
And we thought about that, and that's very important. We wanted to make sure there was a way to moderate that. So.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Thank you.
Well, we have our
Thank you so
proposal
much.
here, so we should.